Co-powered by This is CNN News 18 and Federal Bank Primetime Studio.
A very good evening. You're watching Brass Tacks from the CNN News 18 and Federal Bank Primetime Studio. I am Akanksha Swaroop. Let's rewind a bit. The day was 25th June 1975. Indira Gandhi declared a national emergency to suppress civil liberties, citing Article 352 of the Indian Constitution. The 21-month period was also known for excesses such as forced mass sterilization, censorship of the press, suspension of constitutional rights, and centralization of power. And Tuesday marked the golden jubilee of the blackest day in Indian history. Now, on expected lines, first Prime Minister Narendra Modi set the stage during his speech on Monday. He criticized the emergency for scrapping the constitution, killing democracy, and turning the country into a jail. And today, Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla read out the resolution condemning the imposition of emergency. He termed the decision by Indira Gandhi an attack on the constitution and asked the House to observe 2 minutes of silence in memory of people who lost their lives during the emergency. Needless to say, it triggered a wave of protests by the opposition in the House. Opposition MPs, including from the Congress, were on their feet. They raised slogans against the reference to the emergency. At a time, the 18th Lok Sabha is being touted as the dawn of a new reality for the Indian Parliament, with the opposition much stronger post the elections and finally a leader of opposition after a decade. Has the BJP isolated the Congress within the opposition ranks with its emergency attack? Because the Samajwadi Party and the DMK supported the Speaker's resolution, while both parties, along with the TMC, refrained from protesting in the Parliament along with the Congress. And that brings us to the big question on Brass Tacks tonight on Speaker's emergency reminder: can Congress escape the dark chapter?
भारत के इतिहास में 25 जून 1975 के देश को जेल खाना बना दिया गया। भारत की नई पीढ़ी इस बात को कभी नहीं भूलेगी कि भारत के संविधान को पूरी तरह नकार दिया गया था। संविधान के लीरे लीरा उड़ा दिए गए थे। देश को जेल खाना बना दिया गया था। लोकतंत्र को पूरी तरह दबोच दिया गया था। 25 जून 1975 के उस दिन को
भारत के इतिहास में 25 जून 1975 के उस दिन को हम हमेशा काले अध्याय के रूप में जाना जाएगा।
BJP must stop driving a car only by looking at the rear view mirror. They must have a forward-looking agenda.
सरकार का एक सोचा समझा एजेंडा है कि सदन न चलने पाए। आज जो अघोषित इमरजेंसी है, ये संविधान में कहीं इसका जिक्र नहीं है।
सिर्फ और सिर्फ इंदिरा गांधी की कुर्सी बचाने के लिए ये इमरजेंसी लगाई गई थी। तो आज ये लोग जो बात करते हैं, लोकतंत्र की, संविधान की शर्म करें।
श्रीमती इंदिरा गांधी जी के नेतृत्व में उस संविधान का गला घोंटने का कार्य किया था, जिस संविधान की शपथ लेकर के वह देश की प्रधानमंत्री बनी।
All right, let's dive straight into the discussion. And for that, I'm joined in by our esteemed panelists today. Tuhin Sinha, who's the national spokesperson of the Bharatiya Janata Party. Dr. Joy Kumar, who's the national spokesperson of the Congress. Mr. Hafizullah, who's the spokesperson of the DMK. And Tushar Gupta, who's a senior journalist and political commentator. Tushar, I'd like you to set the tone for the debate. 50 years have lapsed, something that happened back in 1975. Why is it being brought back today? Of course, the opposition you heard is calling it extremely insignificant. Why and how does emergency matter in today's day and age?
Good evening, Akanksha. Leave it to the Congress. They would tweak history as per their whims and fancies. They would want the people of India to know nothing about the emergency. They call it insignificant because they want to demean the sufferings of the people of those 21 months. People who languished in prisons without a fair trial, people who languished in the most distressing conditions without any support from the government, people who were silenced in the media, people who were silenced in the political circles. They want the people of India not to know anything about this. This is what the Congress wants. But we have to look at the resolution that was passed in the Lok Sabha today in this very context. The young Indians, the Indians who were born after perhaps say the 1990s, who know very little about the emergency and the sufferings of the people, they must go back and read the history as to how the Congress party traumatized an entire nation in the name of politics for 21 long months when they suspended the constitution. Today, it's all good and well for Rahul Gandhi to hold up a copy of the constitution and say, we are here to save the constitution. But 5 decades ago, it was their party that overruled the constitution of India for their own political and selfish interests. I think the people of India must not forget that, must not forgive them for that.
All right, Mr. Hafizullah, can you hear me? Because I'd like to take my next question from you. Mr. Hafizullah, something very heartwarming was witnessed today. We saw how the Samajwadi Party and the DMK also supported the resolution. I'm sure that was in solidarity with the spirit of democracy, but why did the DMK choose to do that?
See, what we need to understand is history is history. We cannot rewrite history. In fact, DMK was one of the victims of that period when emergency was put out. Our leaders were arrested. My current leader, the chief minister today, was also a victim of that period. Now, having said that, that is a matter of past. That is 50-year-old now. In a present situation, there is something that we have to look is what is in the past and what is in the future. My learned friend who's a fellow panelist who was telling about people silenced in the media. What is happening today? How many people are silenced in the media? How many media houses are being threatened? How many journalists are arrested under UAPA? Is this not an undeclared emergency? What is happening in Manipur? Prime Minister took 78 days to talk about that. And we have to bring in a no confidence motion for the Prime Minister to talk on an issue where hundreds of people were being killed. The armed forces were being robbed from their ammunition. And then the Chief Minister says it's a foreign intrusion. What happened to people who died and there was no discussion? See, you want to go talk about the past, you can continue to do it. But what is happening in today is nothing less than what you're accusing of. The opposition leaders are being arrested. When for a particular case, a sitting chief minister is being arrested, and
Mr. Hafizullah, I'm going to take that question. I'm going to take that question from Tuhin, who's very much a part of this discussion today. But the point and the fact of the matter right now is, why won't you question the Congress party and its lack of support towards the resolution? Why wouldn't you question Congress's own stance?
See, we have questioned the Congress on that.
When?
Our politics
And where?
traditionally, you have to read back the history, please. From 75
I'm talking
to
about
2000,
today, the Congress.
No, why? No. See, Akansha, just because you want it, we have a bigger problem.
My job is to raise questions, Mr. Hafizullah.
Let me, yeah, I'm telling you, in the sense, it's not you. I'm just quoting an example. We have a bigger emergency today. You want to question what is happening today, the arrest of journalists, Chief Minister.
Point taken. Tuhin, that's the repeated and consistent attack that's being hurled at the BJP. We've heard it from Mallikarjun Kharge, who's called it, an undeclared emergency. We've heard various quarters of the Congress party, people like Jairam Ramesh also saying that what's been happening since 2014 up till 2024 has been unconstitutional in itself. And that in itself is emergency. How do you respond?
Well, good evening, Akansha. Good evening, everybody. You know, at the outset, let me first congratulate Om Birla ji, not only for being elected as the Lok Sabha Speaker, but also for the most unequivocal and for the most, bold resolution condemning the worst tampering of democracy in 1975. All these people who call it undeclared emergency basically cannot come out of their emergency mindset. When they were in power, they were imposing emergency. Today, when they are out of power, they are spreading falsehood about the Constitution. They are spreading doctored videos which says, which has the Home Minister saying that, the reservation will end. Even that is an act of tampering with the spirit of the Constitution. Yesterday, they forced a contest for the post of Lok Sabha Speaker when they had no chance of getting a Lok Sabha Speaker. In the first time in parliamentary history, they did that. That again is tampering with the spirit of parliamentary, democracy and the Constitution. So, for the younger generation to know that all those people who are ostentatiously flashing this Constitution book in their hands are the primary culprits and repeat offenders when it comes to disregarding Constitution, I think this resolution was very important. Ideally, I would have expected that at the end of the resolution, Rahul Gandhi stand up and profusely apologize to the nation, one, for the 42nd constitutional amendment, and secondly, for 17 constitutional amendments brought during emergency, and thirdly, for misusing Article 356 90 times. That would have been a closure. But unfortunately, they keep arguing and they keep calling us dictators.
That brings me to Dr. Ajoy Kumar. You have to respond to that, Dr. Kumar, but before you do that, let me also quote what the Home Minister had to say. He's also gone on to say that the true spirit of democracy would have been tested of the Congress party if they would have supported the resolution, and by in fact protesting against the resolution, you've actually proven that you are undemocratic. Well, that's the charge coming in from the Union Home Minister.
Akansha, thank you for bringing me last on this show. The issue, I was hearing the senior journalist speaking. I just wanted to ask Tushar a question is, how many times have you written that Manipur is a bad thing? How many times have you written that Kappan was a bad thing? You're saying that we did a bad thing, we accept that the emergency was wrong, and you have said it repeatedly. Akansha, how many times have you done a program on all these, on the destruction of the institutions, election commission? The fundamental question today is, and please have the patience to hear me out doing, because
I am doing that as well, Dr. Kumar. But do not attack how we have not done shows, because I don't want to go into the archives of CNN News 18 to bring out what all we have covered, whether it is Manipur or even attack on constitutions.
On me on a show, either you listen.
Yes, but don't make unjustified attacks, please.
I have a right to speak. I don't need to attend the show. So first, let's get it clear. We keep hearing the TV, look at the way you have put on the show. I want to ask you a couple of very simple questions. You think that the selection of the Chief Election Commissioner is the correct way? Have you done a show on that? Emergency was wrong, emergency was bad 50 years back.
What is the present? We have been consistently raising questions.
Complete, madam, have the courtesy to listen. Have the courtesy. I have the courtesy to listen to you. Please extend the same courtesy to me and I'll really appreciate it. What about all the journalists who are in prison? What about the misuse of ED, CBI? What about you calling us and speaking on FaceTime. Everybody, even the village, even the Sabjiwala wants to speak on FaceTime. What about the buying out of the media totally in terms of everything possible? You think these are not destruction of institutions? Don't you think these are undeclared emergencies when you put two sitting chief ministers in prison? You are talking about democracy. What about when you take Ajit Pawar and Praful Patel and you were on your show, and CNN 18 did a number of shows on corruption?
Ajit Pawar and Praful Patel are not children. They are not children, and they've not just been lifted overnight, or they've not been abducted. Let me bring in Tushar. Tushar, when you talk about press freedom as somebody who's been the former editor of Swaraj.
No, one second. You can't go on a show with 20 minutes spiel and not give an opportunity, because you have been the whole show, whether it is the senior journalist speaking. One tweet I want to say on Kappan.
Go ahead.
You're fighting democracy, sir. Tushar. One tweet on Kappan. One tweet on journalist in prison. One tweet on the election commission. One tweet on the ED raid. Show me. And then please come on a TV show and say you are independent. No issues. Emergency was long. We have said it repeatedly. But what is happening today? It's a joke.
What have you said repeatedly is what I want to know. When have you openly condemned? Has there been an official apology? And before you do that, have you given a clean chit to the ongoing ED investigation and the CBI against the Delhi CM? Are you questioning the ED and the CBI integrity as well, Dr. Kumar? My question is very simple.
I'm questioning, because you should be questioning. You should be questioning that why didn't the CBI
We are doing that day in, day out.
One sec. Why didn't you question that? Why is Ajit Pawar out? Why didn't you question when Mukul Roy is out? Why didn't you question Vyapam? You should be asking those questions, not me. But did you question? No. So my question is, Vyapam, not a single program. NEET, scam, not a single program. And then you're telling me institutions which are no.
Then I want to ask you, why is Mukul Roy your ally in the TMC, which is very much a part of the bloc?
Have you asked Tuin what is Ajit Pawar doing? Have you ever asked? Have you ever asked what Praful Patel is doing? Have you ever asked what is the NTA doing?
You know,
Right.
No.
Okay.
Let's no holds barred. Now, emergency was wrong. No debate. I understand the DMK's position. We understand our position. The party has categorically said that the emergency was wrong. But the issue is very clear. Do you have the courage to say that what is happening today is right or wrong? Will you do a show on ED, CBI, extensions, on Praful Patel, Ajit Pawar, and all those 25 leaders? The party, no. Answer that to him. 25 people with ED raids joined BJP.
All right, Dr. Kumar, can Tuhin answer now? I must thank you. I must thank you. I must thank you for patiently awaiting your turn. Dr. Kumar, are you done?
Yes.
Then I can, in fact, bring in Tuhin.
I'm done and I'm good. Thank you.
All right.
Akansha,
Tuhin, please go ahead.
Dr. Kumar's, Dr. Kumar's charges, the charges that he has made only confirms what I said at the start. They have not come out of the emergency mindset. In 1975, they crushed the media. Today, they repeatedly cast aspersions upon the media. In the last 7 days, I must have appeared for at least 7 to 8 shows on NEET, and they are saying that you have not done any show on NEET. These people had somebody, a controversial guy like Naveen Chawla as the CEC, one of the most controversial chief election commissioners, and they keep casting aspersions on the EVM and election commission and whatnot. I think Congress, this is precisely the reason why today's resolution was important. While the emergency may have ended long ago, the emergency mindset of the Congress party, where they cast aspersions on independent media, they ridicule the exit polls. Now, the media needs to speak up and say that the exit polls were independent. I think my point has already been proved by the baseless allegations that Dr. Kumar has made today.
All right. I think Mr. Hafizullah wants to make a point. Dr. Kumar, please hold your horses. We've given you ample time. Let also Mr. Hafizullah speak up. Yes, please go ahead.
Yeah, I appreciate the BJP opposing the emergency tooth and nail. What was done was very bad. But there had been amendments. He said the constitution was tampered. I want to give you one particular example of what has happened in one of that amendment. Was the education which was in the state list was forcibly brought into concurrent list during the emergency period. Now the BJP had strengthened it more by centralizing the exams. which are the part of the education. Can they undo it? Leave the state, leave the education to the complete state list? No. Where for the BJP, the benefits of emergency and the amendments which favors them are a very good thing. They want to make it more strong. They take away the state exams and make it centralized. One such example is NEET. Asita, you need, sir, can we go back, sir? Can we undo the education from the concurrent list and give it back to the state list, because that was done during the emergency? Which emergency you're opposing? Let us have state exams for all the state educational institutes. But why are you not doing it? No, you don't do it because you are enjoying the benefits of emergency.
No,
so this is the hypocrisy of the BJP.
So I'm glad that you, in fact, highlighted the benefits of the emergency, because remember, when you talk about the lapses in the Indian education system, they go back to as soon as India gained its independence. Can the past 10 years be, left alone to be blamed for that? Tuhin, I'd like to bring you in. In fact, I'd also like to highlight that the opposition demand was that the CBI should be handed over, and that is something that's happening as far as the investigation is concerned. Right, Tuhin, please go ahead.
My point is very simple.
Over the last weekend, we have taken 4 concrete steps to address
Mr. Hafizullah, you've spoken. Let Tuhin also speak up.
No, I think, it's a separate discussion altogether. During the weekend, we have taken 4 very concrete steps, including handing over the entire case to CBI, changing the NTA Director General. So, that thing is already addressed. Now, regarding the centralization of the education system, that has its reasons. We have seen over the years that, education mafia in states has prospered with the support of certain political parties. And I can name those political parties. This time, the NEET scam in Bihar very clearly has an RJD imprint, which they cannot question. Have they ever asked questions to Tejasvi Yadav, whose private secretary is one of the key accused and being investigated? In 2013, the Samajwadi Party in Uttar Pradesh withdrew the Anti-Copying Act, which we had brought in Uttar Pradesh in 1992. So, it's a separate discussion altogether. We can have a separate show on this.
Dr. Kumar, I see you want to make a point. Please go ahead. Let Dr. Joy Kumar make a point.
Mr. Tuhin, the problem is on a TV you can go get away saying half-truths and untruths rather. The person they are showing the accused, that the main guy who got a job as an engineer, got his time during the BJP time, and he's a LJP candidate who is a sworn ally of the Bharatiya Janata Party, but it's a convenient, facts should not come in between a good story. The other issue is, look at the RSS guys who you're filling up, the Vyapam scam guy, the Chhattisgarh scam, the guy who was in it is now the chairman of the NTA. The NTA papers in Jharkhand. You're talking about constitution, so let's start doing. You object to the constitution, please tell your party.
Dr. Kumar, we're also talking about since you're talking about constitution, and also let's talk about democratic rights. And that is why I'd like to bring in Mr. Hafizullah on that. What's happening in the Tamil Nadu Assembly also? No, I am running short of time and I have several points to touch upon. What's happening in the Tamil Nadu Assembly? Why have the AIADMK MLAs been suspended for a day just because they raised the issue of the Hooch tragedy?
Okay, so when did you do a program for 154 MPs being suspended?
Let's not get into that whataboutery. Dr. Kumar, I've been very patient about this, but we cannot get into this whataboutery because I'm not going to get into the archives of CNN News 18 and bring each and every program that we've been doing. Please watch our channel from morning till evening. I'm not so hungry for your TRPs. But let me take that question from Mr. Hafizullah. Mr. Hafizullah, please explain what explains the suspension of those MLAs who had the right to question the Kalakurchi Hooch tragedy that happened, and you suspend them on pretext that they are creating a ruckus, which is something that Congress was doing at the well of the House today as well.
Akansha, you call me for a show at 9 o'clock. Okay, I come at 8 o'clock and they say you conduct the show right away when some other business was happening. The issue was simple. There was a question hour happening and my chief minister was ready to discuss this on 0 hour. On the day when that was the stand of the government, which they did not agree. The chief minister said, let's have a discussion post-lunch. Even after suspension, we requested the speaker and asked the ADMK to come and participate in the discussion. They don't want to do it. It is not like where we have to bring a no confidence motion for the Prime Minister to speak. Our chief minister was ready and inviting them. But they come with a premeditated agenda of creating a news and media attention to disrupt the question hour. There is a discussion on the budget which was discussed. This was the supplementary questions which are being asked. The business was planned. Now they don't want to discuss in 0 hours. How are we to be blamed if the Chief Minister hasn't
Tushar,
spoken?
I'd like to bring you in
understand.
on that. All right, you've made your point, but Tushar, let me bring you in on this. When you're talking about, say, a huge tragedy like the one that we've witnessed in Kalakurchi, is it that, that are we questioning the opposition's right to question and a right to answer? Because, we've seen this time and again happen that ruckus created is always the reasoning or the rationale given behind suspending. And right now, as we are talking, in fact, I'm also being told that they've not been suspended for a day, they've been suspended for an entire session. Did it call for their suspension for an entire session?
Absolutely not. It's rather unfortunate that the opposition MPs in Tamil Nadu were voicing their concerns against this very unfortunate tragedy that has consumed the lives of over 55 people. They're simply being suspended. And this is from an opposition, this is from a rather government in the state that is the national opposition. And they claim that they need more consensus building and they need more reconciliation. I'm quite appalled by the behavior of the Congress spokesperson here. Upon asking questions about the Congress, the first thing they do is attack the media. Attack how many shows you have done. They want an entire schedule of how many shows have been done on certain topic. Why can't they simply answer the questions? And yet they accuse of the BJP driving in an atmosphere like emergency. This is absolute hypocrisy. They want to talk about institutions being under danger. Someone should remind them of the banking crisis that they left the NDA within 2013-14. They want to talk about institutions. They should talk about how they reduced BSNL and Air India into financial losses, massive financial losses. They want to talk about Manipur. Let's talk about how they misled Punjab, how they misgoverned Punjab across the 1970s and 80s. They want to talk about the right of the media to criticize. Sir, for the last 10 years, anyone in the media has been free to criticize the BJP as and whenever they want. They were never questioned. In the emergency,
Dr. Joy Kumar, when we talk about the rights of media, what about press freedom during the emergency? Why won't you step out in the open and the grand old party?
Akanksha, one point. Akanksha, one point. One point, Akanksha. Just 2 points. Which was that party that chose to boycott a specific list of anchors right before the Lok Sabha elections? And which was the party that right before the elections in their manifesto said that we will prohibit the cross-media ownership across different segments? Which is that party that had regulation about media ownership in their election manifesto? It was the Congress.
All right, let Dr. Kumar take that question. Dr. Kumar, don't get worked up, but I want you to come back with all those questions that Tushar has just raised. No, there are very pertinent points over there. Because now that you have your party and in fact the entire India Alliance has a leader of opposition, which is in fact news to celebrate in the Indian Parliament after a decade, there's greater onus as far as responsible behavior from the entire opposition is concerned. So please, Dr. Ajoy Kumar.
The first question is, what is this democracy, deputy speaker? Are you asking this government the question? Mr. Tushar is asking the press freedom and all. What is the integrity of the, we will question every press who is we think to be biased. Questioning press who are biased, is it an offense? You question us, you question them. Media is holy. Their anchor is the goddess.
No, Dr. Kumar, just because an anchor asks you questions which do not suit your political rhetoric doesn't mean you boycott that anchor.
No. This is not right.
No, Dr. Kumar, just because it doesn't suit your political rhetoric.
No. You don't question why Prime Minister has not done a single press meet.
Mr. Hafizullah, please let Dr. Kumar finish.
Because you're only asking.
This is a...
Have you asked the government any question? Show me one program where the government has been asked.
I will
any
be.
Question. No, show me.
Also
please
ending with a question for Tuin as well.
Show me any program where you question the Prime Minister, whether it's China, whether it is Hathras, whether it is CBI. So when you don't question...
Interviews are all about questioning.
No, madam, those interviews are all.
All right. Tuin, before we are accused of being BJP stooges,
Akansha,
too much of data.
Press meets.
Akansha, this Congress party
it's deplorable that
suffering from a selective...
Dr. Ajay Kumar, it's deplorable that you do not have the chivalry and your party doesn't have the chivalry to stand and admit that we deserve an apology for the darkest chapter in human history. But you will keep attacking. You can show your largesse.
Can I finally come in?
Please.
All right. Can I come in, please?
Please go ahead. Dr. Ajay Kumar, let's have a civil discussion over here. Please go ahead.
I follow certain debating etiquettes, and I would, appreciate if the same is extended to me. This Congress party seems to be suffering from a problem of selective memory loss. In the last 2 weeks, I remember there have been so many anti-government debates, whether it is on NEET, whether it is on the train discussion, they don't seem to remember anything. So they seem to be suffering from amnesia, and they need to get themselves treated. Today, Rahul Gandhi has become the leader of the opposition. Since they are suffering from selective memory loss, I want to remind him that at one point of time, he used to believe that power is poison. No, power is not poison. The post of the leader of opposition holds a lot of constructive power. Utilize that for the good of the country. Get out of your obstructionist agenda. You have an obstructionist agenda. You will have to rise above that for the good of the country. Please do that. This is your moment.
Good of the country.
All right. Kiren, I'd like to end with a question that I have for you. Why would your lone MP from Kerala, Mr. Suresh Gopi, also the Union Minister, now in fact call Indira Gandhi the mother of India? He's also gone on to justify it by saying that she, according to him, has been the architect of post-independence India.
Exactly.
Please go ahead. I'd like to end with your thoughts on that note.
The democracy. That exactly highlights the democracy within the party. That exactly, highlights how open we are to different ideas. If he said it in his individual capacity, maybe, in the past he may not have belonged to the BJP. But we have no problems with it. That shows our acceptance of different ideas, and that is what, that is, so different from Congress, which thrives on intolerance.
All right, Tushar, I give you 15 seconds to come up with your thoughts.
I'm just looking at the worked up Congress spokesperson, and I have only one thing to say. This is precisely why the people of India need to know about the emergency. It's a forgotten chapter of history, perhaps for the Congress. Maybe they want to forget it. But the India people must not, because we are always only one election result away from electing a government that believes in silencing critical voices, just as the Congress spokesperson was trying to silence you when you asked him some tough questions.
All right, Mr. Hafizullah.
No, you were saying about the fellow panelist, he said about boycotting the anchors. You should also know why Prime Minister is only giving interview to few anchors, not all. Why is he being
Then you should also know that we've been doing consistent debates on NEET, on powers bestowed upon the CBI or the ED.
Akansha, 85 interviews, 85
All right,
interviews in 40
Dr.
days.
Kumar,
How is it selective?
Dr. Kumar, I've heard senior Congress leaders talk about how Britain owes an apology to India for colonizing our country. What about an apology from Congress party? Please answer my question when it comes to the period of emergency before you attack and get into whataboutery.
We have already said that the emergency was wrong. So please watch Mr. Kharge's interview. Mr. Rahul Gandhi said it. But I like what Mr. Tushar has said. Suppressing. You want to suppress the millions of voices. You don't see anything wrong happening today with all your colleagues inside jail. You have the audacity to say that we are suppressing. You have the audacity to tell the Prime Minister कि आप आम काट के खाते हो कि चूस के
All right, Dr. Kumar, I wish your party the very best. In fact, all of opposition. Now that you also have a leader of opposition, I'm sure you'll have a stronger voice. This is being called the dawn of a new reality for the 18th Lok Sabha. And with that, it's time to slip into a quick break. We'll be back with another discussion. But for now, let's cut to a quick break. Stay tuned to Brass Tacks. Welcome back. You're watching Brass Tacks with me, Akanksha Swaroop, and we are coming live to you from the CNN News 18 and Federal Bank Prime Time studios. Now, the Karnataka government is receiving backlash from the opposition after the demand for more deputies belonging to Veerashaiva, Lingayat, SCST and minority communities, which is growing within the party. The demand seems to have created differences in the Siddaramaiah cabinet. Congress Minister Dinesh Gundu Rao refuted the allegations of any internal fight. He termed the demand as personal opinions of leaders and added that final decision will be taken by the Chief Minister and party high command. The BJP, on the other hand, is hitting out at the government, citing the rise in fuel tariffs and increased price of essential goods like milk and even the looming water tariff hike, which the Deputy Chief Minister D.K. Shivakumar has called imperative. BJP is saying that Congress is busy appointing new deputies when the coffers of the state are depleted and the common man continues to suffer as the 5 guarantees that pushed the Congress to power have been exposed as untenable. This brings us to the question: the Karnataka Deputy CM tussle, is the post above solving price rise? That's a big question that we are posing tonight.
ಚರ್ಚೆ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ಟಿ ವಿಲಿ ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಹೈಕಮಾಂಡ್ ಉತ್ತರ ಕೊಡಬೇಕು. ಒಂದು ಎರಡನೇದು, ಈಗಾಗಲೇ ಚುನಾವಣೆಗಳು ಮುಗಿದಿದೆ,
ಅದರಿಂದ ನಾವು ಕೂಡ ಹಂಚಿಕೊಳ್ಳೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಆರೋಗ್ಯಕರವಾಗಿರ್ತದೆ ಅಂತ ನನ್ನ ವೈಯಕ್ತಿಕ ಅಭಿಪ್ರಾಯ. ಅದರ ಮೇಲೆ ಹೈಕಮಾಂಡ್ ತೀರ್ಮಾನ ತೆಗೆದುಕೊಳ್ಳಬೇಕು.
ಸಾರ್ವಜನಿಕ ವಲಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಚರ್ಚೆ ಆಗುವಂಥ ಅವಶ್ಯಕತೆ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಕೂತ್ಕೊಂಡು ಇದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಒಂದು ತೀರ್ಮಾನ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು, ಅದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಏನಿಲ್ಲ, ತಕರಾರಿಲ್ಲ.
They are doing this as a diversionary tactic to divert people's minds from the actual issues of price rise.
All right, and for that, let me introduce my guests. In fact, Tuhin Sinha, who is the national spokesperson of the BJP, continues to stay with us. Bhavya Krishnamurthy, who is the spokesperson of the Congress party, also joins me today. Many thanks to you, Bhavya and Tuhin, for staying on. Bhavya, the big question is the Congress party bearing the heat of delivering or the pressure to deliver on the guarantee schemes, which is now taking a toll on the state's coffers?
We don't see that as a pressure. Our guarantee schemes, we were very clear from day one, since the day we announced before the elections, that our state and the people of Karnataka needed these measures. These are welfare measures, and these are going to empower the people of Karnataka. We are very, very clear about it on this, and our guarantees will continue. It was the opposition party who doubted us whether we will implement guarantees or not. After we implemented, now they have a problem. They keep saying, take back guarantees, because if that is not, helping you, if that is creating this financial problem, then why are you giving guarantees? You know what? No matter what, guarantees is a different question, and we are not going to stop that. And then comes, when you talk about price rise, whether it is the petrol price or the milk price that has been increased, I would like to take case by case, right? When it comes to milk price rise, we have increased it by 2 rupees and 4 rupees respectively between half liter and 1 liter. And I understand, I'm not saying the people, the civilians have asked for 50 ml extra milk, but we are also providing for the price rise. The equal amount of milk is also been increased in the pack. So that money only goes to the farmers. We have to purchase or procure that many liters of milk to increase even the supply, right? So the money directly goes to the farmers, and KMF is an independent thing, and they have decided on increasing the price. Coming to diesel and petrol price, Akanksha, I would like to remind BJP that they have a responsibility towards the people of Karnataka as well. I understand they want to be a responsible opposition party by protesting against the price rise and all that. Instead of showing their desperation and their disappointment of not giving them a chance in Karnataka and reducing their seats in parliamentary elections and not giving them a chance in assembly elections, so they want to attack the people of Karnataka. Instead, what they want to do, what they can do is just one thing: go to their own leaders who have their government in center and ask them to give us the share that the centre owes our state.
All right. You made your point. You made your point. Tuhin.
No, I have more regarding petrol as well.
All right. I give you another 15 seconds before I take a rebuttal from Tuhin. Please go ahead.
Okay.
Bhavya, please go ahead.
Yeah, okay. So I thought you asked him to speak. Okay. So during 2013-14, the additional excise duty on petrol and diesel, I mean, the share that was going to the central per litre petrol was 9 rupee 21 paise and 3 rupee 41 paise in 2013-14, just before BJP came to power. And you know how much it is today? It is 33 rupees and 34 rupees goes to centre. Centre has many means of collecting taxes. And once they impose GST, our state has a loss. Our increase, the percentage of increase in our collection of tax has not increased at all. It has decreased. And
all right. You made your point, Bhavya. Tuhin, if I could bring you in, this has also been a consistent charge coming in from the Congress party that, you know, it is the centre which is responsible for the inflation. In fact, some days ago, we heard Mr. Hardeep Singh Puri also talk about how it is the non-BJP ruled states where the prices of the fuel, especially petrol and diesel, is higher. Why is it so?
You know, Akansha, today, sadly, the Congress state governments are synonymous with financial anarchy. Since we are discussing Karnataka, you know, you would recall that the first thing which D.K. Shivkumar said after coming to power was that there can be no development work this year because we have made 5 promises which we need to fulfill. Now, in the last few weeks, they have increased the price of petrol, they have increased the price of water, they have increased the price of power. You know, the point is, while today we may be discussing Karnataka, there is a larger malaise that the Congress party represents today. It is over-promising and under-delivering. Imagine, you know, using Karnataka as a case study, imagine the kind of financial damage they would have wreaked upon the country had their fake promises during the election, you know, had they come to power and had, you know, they been made to fulfill those promises. Today, we have seen after the elections how women have been lining up outside Congress state offices, you know, because they provided a check, a fake guarantee card saying we'll give you 1 lakh. So I think a Congress party, you know, which is the oldest party in the country, needs to be a little more responsible when it comes to making false promises to win elections, because eventually it is about the fiscal health of the country and it hampers the economic development of the country going ahead.
Bhavya, the centre has also taken steps to lower the prices of petrol and diesel. Why is it that, you know, Karnataka or till recently when the government change didn't happen in Andhra Pradesh, even Telangana, Kerala, are not able to implement those policies?
You know, it depends on each state government, of course. And if you see Maharashtra, where BJP is in power, the prices are more than Karnataka's price. We have kept it, you know, affordable for our people. Compared to most of the BJP-ruled states, our state has lesser price. And we understand once we increase the petrol price, the essential commodities, you know, price will increase. But let me tell you something. The tolls, you know, the toll collection from Karnataka, in 2013, it was 2,000 crores. And in 2024, it is 65,000 crores, which goes directly to centre. So in 10 years, they have increased from 2,000 crores to 65,000 crores. Doesn't this increase the essential commodities prices? That means per kilometer, cost has increased through toll. Then come road construction development cess.
You know, Akansha,
10,800 crores goes from Karnataka. When centre is having so many means of collecting taxes, and when Karnataka is actually giving 100 rupees to centre, we get back only 12 rupees to 13 rupees. Above which, They are not ready to give us the compensation that the
Right.
finance
I was just
commission
waiting for you to
has
mention the word compensation. Tuhin, okay, Tuhin, it always comes back to compensation coming in from the center. The fact of the matter is, in fact, research and reports are very much indicative of how the daily wage earners are struggling for a living. When you talk about service-based people, even say the common man who depend on their daily services, whether it's a plumber or an electrician or even the grocers, they're all talking about how they've been majorly hit and they do not have means to sustain their daily wages.
You know, the fact today is that 25 crore people have been brought out of poverty in the last 10 years. And if you look at the recent India Today report, poverty is at its lowest, less than 3% ever. So if there are, you know, some pockets which are still suffering, the government is completely committed to addressing the problems. But over here, you know, let us not digress from the issue. While what you are witnessing in Karnataka is an immediate reaction of the Congress fiscal mismanagement, I think, you know, it has larger connotations.
And the power
for
tussle
the
within
country.
the Congress.
We have seen similar. We have seen similar fiscal mismanagement in the states of Rajasthan when Congress was in power, in the state of Himachal where Congress is in power, where repeatedly government employees have not been provided salaries for months at a stretch. So I think, you know, over promising and under delivering with a desperate attempt to somehow grab power has been the hallmark of the Congress party. But I think they need to think about the future of the country. They need to have a vision for the next 2 decades the way we have.
Bhavya, K.H. Muniappa in fact went on to say that it's time to bring in newer faces and drop the senior faces. What does this indicate of the own political scenario within the Karnataka Congress?
You know, just one point I want to make regarding what...
No, because what we are discussing today is also politically connected.
For people, he said they brought out 20 crore people from poverty, and the same BJP also claims that they are giving free ration to 80 crore people. What an irony is this? Does that mean when they came to power, more than 100 crore people were below poverty line? Where do you get these numbers?
All right, Bhavya, let's also talk about the power tussle within the Karnataka Congress. I mean, why demand only 3 deputy CMs? You can have 5, 6, 7. The list is endless.
10.
You know, when you have one of the largest political party or the oldest political party and so many leaders, powerful leaders, you know, who have a lot of experience, of course these kind of tussles come up. But I'm very sure our leaders are capable enough to sit together and sort it out in the inner circle. And we will come out with a solution, because whatever the tussle is, every one of our leaders are committed to serve the people of Karnataka.
But Bhavya, do you agree that as far as inflation is concerned, there is no sector that also includes hospitality, it also includes excise? All of them have been deeply impacted. We can't just talk about milk and vegetables, power and gas cylinders and so on and so forth.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. Once we get back what the center owes us, you know, including last year, Karnataka went through one of the worst phases of, you know, drought, which their own committee, a cabinet committee came, they inspected and they said we have lost 35,000 equal to 35,000 rupees loss of crop. And they suggested that center should give us 18,000 crore rupees in compensation. And guess what? They did not do that until elections and until we went to Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court had to guide them to give us, and they have only released 3,000 crores so far. There's a lot of things.
I'm running short of time. Tuhin, you have another minute to answer that before I, in fact, close this debate with Bhavya's closing thoughts.
You know, the Congress party has been spreading a lot of falsehood on the issue of GST devolution to states. And Nirmala Sitharamanji has very categorically explained it both on X as well as through her press conference. So I don't need to get into that. Fact is, in neighboring Telangana, when Revanth Reddy was recently asked in one of his interviews if the center has been unfair, he very categorically said that I have no experience of the center being unfair. So, you know, when their state government underperforms or is not able to deliver, it's the easiest thing for the Congress party to blame the center. But I think it's about time they realize that they need to be a little more responsible as a political party and think about the fiscal health of the state and the country going ahead.
All right, Bhavya, I'd like you to in fact respond to that, and while you do that, important to also
ask to please vote, check what the Supreme Court has asked the centre to do, after which the centre actually gave us some of the compensation, just 3,000 crores out of 18,000 crores, and still a compensation or the Upper Bhadra project, which was in your previous budget, which the same Nirmala Sitharaman had announced that she is going to give us 5,000 crores, has not been released, not a penny, your previous budget. There are a lot of things about Karnataka, because I am from Karnataka and I'm working in the party. I exactly know how much the centre owes us. Once that comes to us,
all right, Bhavya, my question to you is, and I give you 30 seconds, do you think that the Congress guarantees have worked? Because we've seen how the Voka Liga candidates have lost out in the recently concluded Lok Sabha elections. We've also seen Mr. D.K. Suresh's defeat. How do you place this into perspective? If we've seen your vote share has increased, but in terms of victory, how has it now panned out?
You know, Akanksha, yes, it was not up to our expectation. We definitely expected a minimum of 15 seats. But to increase from one seat to a 9 seat, I see that as a good, turnout. Although, yes, the guarantee schemes, like I said, the whole intention was to empower the people of Karnataka. And if you get some time, come to Karnataka, I'll take you on field and you will see how happy the women of Karnataka are there. More than anyone else, the women of Karnataka feel empowered. They're taking care of their health.
Bhavya, that's something I do not agree with, because Rahul Gandhi on record has gone on to talk about how during the Bharat Jodo Yatra, the women of Karnataka have talked about inflation and how they are not happy with the price rise. So let's not get there. But I in fact, do appreciate your honesty in several aspects for calling a spade a spade. Many thanks to you, Bhavya and Tareen, for joining in on this discussion. And with that, it's a quick wrap from my end. Thank you so much for watching Brass Tacks with me, Akanksha Swaru.
Like, maybe like $100 to Civilly or something like that after the notification.
Gandhi vacates the seat he won for a second consecutive time and his sister steps in. There is a question of what has Priyanka Gandhi done to merit this ticket as a bipole after her brother has won from Wayanad. It's not like she has proven her electoral mettle.
Is America playing a very dangerous game with Bharat, where it bats with Bharat against the PLA vis-a-vis Tibet and Taiwan is concerned, but it uses Canada to once again bat and try and finger India?
Can the BJP absolve itself by insinuating that the other side, for a lack of a better word, is involved or is complicit in leaking the NEET exam? There must be somebody who gives out that paper, isn't it?
Why are we letting the Americans fire off our shoulders? This is basically an American congressional delegation coming here to India and making a geopolitical statement against China at a time when India has its own plate full when it comes to its own troubles with China.
Presented by
How does it feel to be a free man, Mr. Assange? Congratulations! How do you feel about the sentence, sir? Quick comment about the sentence.
What's your message to journalists around the world today, Mr. Assange? Do you think justice was served today?
What do you think of that man's beard? How many in this one? Assange, could you wave hand, please? Get in there. Guys, move back. Move back. Step back a little bit. Move back. I got you. Good. Mr. Assange, I'll be the rear car, and I'll go with you to the tarmac. Mr. Assange. Mr. Assange. Don't stop doing what you're doing. Don't stop. It's not over.
Hello and welcome to First Post. You're watching Vantage with me, Alison Lagrange. Kenya remains our top focus. We told you about the violent protests on Tuesday. Well, the president has spoken out. He's called yesterday's events treasonous. He has also deployed the military to contain the violence. So, no signs of a concession from the government. What does this mean for Kenya's immediate future? Will the violence continue over the coming days? And if so, how will it affect the neighborhood? We'll bring a comprehensive report on these questions. Meanwhile, Pakistan has launched a new campaign to flush out terrorists. We'll tell you why it is a sham. The Kremlin says it will host Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi next month. We'll decode the significance of the visit. Is Israel using Indian weapons in Gaza? A new report is making waves. How the